Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast.
Today we're covering the third and final season of Kid Cosmic.
Yes, and this season titled Kid Cosmic and the Global Heroes. As it stays true to its title as the crew returns to Earth as world-renowned heroes.
Yeah.
And it seems that the kids' dream of becoming a superhero comes true, but is there something going on behind the scenes?
Yes. And before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, and click notification bell to get some future podcasts and multiple videos.
Yes, and we appreciate you so much. Thank you, and feel free to share our videos as well.
Yes. So when we did season 2, the thing is, we kind of thought that season 3 wasn't come out for a while because Netflix has been known lately to hold out on newer seasons of shows for months or even a whole year. And to our surprise, that season 3 of Kid Cosmic came in just a few months, because it took a little over a year before season 2 came out. So we kind of like, okay, they're going to be a while before then. We have plenty of time.
Right.
But then it says, oh, third season coming in just a month. And it's like, already?
Yes, we were really surprised. And by the time we watched it, people who were fans and had watched it before had already finished it.
Yeah.
So we were watching like the day after everyone else finished.
Right.
But still, it didn't reduce our amount of enthusiasm, and it didn't reduce how fantastic the last season.
However, they did reduce the amount of episodes in the third season.
Yes.
Now, good news is that it didn't affect the storyline. Clearly, whatever they had told was done in that amount of time, but you can tell as each season went on, it got fewer and fewer, and we're not sure if Netflix had a limit and they had to stick to that limit, or this was already planned and was already written accordingly. But regardless, yeah, season 3 is only 6 episodes long, which is why everybody finished it in just about one day.
Yes. And there were some surprises that we did not expect. A couple that we did, but there were quite a few surprises that we didn't see coming. And the best part of this is that it was exciting the entire time.
Yes.
Every episode was exciting.
Yes. Especially when you watch the first one. The first one just has, it's like a superhero fan's dream, where it's just reference after reference after reference after reference and shout out and tribute. And it's like 20 minutes of just superhero content the whole time.
Yes.
And the way it was written, it was done in a really fantastic way. They did honor a few legends that had passed on for real. They had shout outs to really famous characters, and especially if you know the source material. It's probably one of the best parts in this season.
And this time they were all working as a team.
Right.
They all had their own uniforms and their own stones. And there was no bickering or someone thinking that they couldn't do anything. They all were really confident this season.
Right. And I think it also helped that Craig McCracken was back to being one of the head writers again this season. Because he explained in the second season that due to the pandemic, they tried to take the workload off a lot of people. So Netflix had different writers take over season 2 because of past work on female-centric shows, and while we did enjoy it, it did kind of affect some of the characters in that season. However, with him back here, it feels just like season 1, and the things we had said where we wanted Kid and Joe to work together while she's still a leader did happen this season as they intended to do.
Yes, it was fantastic. And we have the return of PPG.
Yes! That was one of the best parts of it, which we mentioned.
And again, there were some reveals that we can't say is going to ruin your experience.
Right.
And that is what happens the majority of the episodes in the season, is things we can't tell you. What we can tell you is that you've got to watch it. If you haven't already seen it, you've got to. If you haven't watched any of the seasons, you are missing out. If you love Craig McCracken, you should be on Netflix watching this series, because it's just him and his love for everything animation and superheroes, and for giving us what we love.
Yes. And we can say there is definitely a happy ending.
Yes.
There is a bit of a contrast between how the season starts, how the season ends, but we are happy to say there is no extremely bad tragedies or the downer ending trope or stuff. There's some close calls, but there's nothing like, oh gosh, why did you go there and ruin the end of it? No, luckily, that does not happen in here.
And there are some challenges in this season as well. And Kid learns more about himself, more about his parents, and so forth, and so do we.
Yeah.
And everything is just nicely put together in this season.
Yes, definitely.
Just well done. Excellent writing, lots of fun. There's some drama, there's some suspense, there's some mysteries, and everything just works out fantastic.
Yes, and I think one of the best parts about this, and people are really missing out on not giving the show attention from the time it started to the time it's over, is that it really is like a throwback to all those old superhero shows a lot of kids grew up with and love watching, or some even older that watch those shows like Spider-Man and Danny Phantom and Teen Titans and things and Voltron. All those things are what made superhero shows great, and unfortunately you don't see as many of those now. So I think it's sort of like a missed opportunity for a lot of people if they don't know about Craig McCracken or the show in general, because there was no really advertisements done for it, is that this is a lot of what people have been missing for superheroes. They might be kind of getting stale to Marvel or DC because they've seen just about every single thing that's come out. The comics aren't doing it for them, and this was something that was a throwback to something they love, and it stays fun the whole time. It has its drama moments, it had this sort of little bump in the road of season 2, but the quality stays good the entire time. And very rarely do you have a show like that where it stays solid the entire time, it doesn't just fall off in the final season.
And I'd like to add to that, in the animation is really good, but the designs are more like cartoons you may have seen on retro channels, where they're more like 60s cartoons,
right,
50s cartoons, and comic books.
Yes.
And he went there, I think, so it'll have more of a wholesome feel, which it does. It's
right,
absolutely really wholesome. Mm-hmm. And if you've seen any things on the retro channels like we have, then you're like, okay, I get it. And if you see any of the older comic books like we have, then you're like, I get it. So it's like he was trying to bring us all with him back to his childhood, mm-hmm, and what he loved about the things he read and he saw. Yes. And he does it fantastic.
Yes. And one more thing I want to bring up that's definitely, not spoilers or anything, we're not going to do that to you, is that, as you have pointed out, that the characters are actually more confident this season. And one of the things that sticks out is that even though it was only 6 episodes and there were 11, 12 people on screen at the same time, it still felt like everyone had at least one moment to shine throughout it. And they didn't need any big arcs or anything. They just needed some screen time and show that they were all useful. And again, another thing is that, Joe and Kid did work together, which they were supposed to do in season 2 until Netflix changed writers. This is what was supposed to happen in season 2, so now we finally got to see what Craig had in mind for that, would have been part of that season. And the third thing that sticks out is that you got to learn more about Papa G, yes, and Kid and how he came to him, and really love that because it's the wholesomeness, right? Then I like that it keeps that intact the whole time. There's no trope in there where you see in every single show where it's got to be some type of bad thing happening, and right, you get tired of seeing that, but you really like the relationship between them. He really loves Kid, and he's not just they don't have like some idiot character in the whole cast. There's some who are kind of slow, but there are none that are just straight up the dumb character, and I really like that with this whole run of the show.
Definitely. So if you've seen Kid Cosmic season 3, what are your thoughts? Let us know. And if you haven't, you gotta get to Netflix. It's there, all 3 seasons. Mm-hmm. Watch from season 1, 2, and 3 if you haven't seen any of them. And if you've just seen 1 and 2 and missed 3, you're missing out.
Yeah, you have to watch them in order.
Definitely. And then come back and let us know your thoughts as well.
Yes. And be sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get us in future podcasts and other Paws videos.
Yes. Thank you so much. We appreciate you very, very much.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you so much for watching. I'm Rascal Entertainment.
And I'm Mama Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.